It's Warped Tour. I went on a road trip for Warped Tour for the heirs, but they were on Warped Tour, so it evens out. This first one is Cincinnati. That's exciting. I remember I got to the venue. I parked. I got in line. I went inside. They were like one of the first bands to play that day. If you don't know Warped Tour, every single day the schedule is different, so that sometimes they play at 7 p.m., sometimes they play at noon, sometimes they play at like 3:15. It just depends on what the schedule is for that day. It always changes so that everybody gets like a fair chance of like having to open and having to close. This happens for like the smaller bands all the way up to the bigger bands because there's a ton of stages there. But today they were one of the very first bands to open, so that was kind of nice. I got to leave early. Not gonna lie, I definitely left early. But I saw the performance and Alex like pointed at me almost immediately and was like, "Oh my god, you're here!" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm here," because that's my first reaction to everything. And then they performed and they were great. And then I went to their meet and greet and took a picture and everything. They did like an iPad photo booth. I will just say now, I do not have a single picture that we took. Not a single one of those photos that we took sent to my phone. How they did it was like the iPad, you put in your email and then it just emails it to you. I did not ever get one. I have no proof from the entirety of 2016, besides the selfies that I took, that I ever saw them, which is frustrating. Like, I have no full group photo, and that is so annoying, but it happens. Technology does that, you know, it's life. But we did that, and then I walked around a little bit. I saw like a whole bunch of bands. I don't know who exactly.
A little bit of fucking humility, a little bit of compassion, a whole lot of love goes longer than you'll ever fucking know, my friends. So if you have nothing nice to say, fuck you. Let's move around. Coming up from brass now. Let's go. us now. Thank y'all so much, man. We'll be at our center at 6:30 if anybody wants to say hello. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Please enjoy the rest of your lives, everybody. Have fun.
But after that, I left, and I went to go meet my friend who was living in Cincinnati. He wasn't able to come to the show, but we like went. I like went to his job after, and he showed me around, and then we went out, and I went to my hotel. Because I had a hotel, because I was smart. Also, it was so hot. When I actually got to the hotel, I forgot to say this before, but when I got to the hotel, I was like 3 hours early. I always forget the check-in times are 3 p.m. and I always get places early. Because like I had driven through the night. Like I had left Milwaukee from Parachute's show and driven just through the night. And then I sat in the parking lot, and then I tried to see if I can get an early room, and they wouldn't let me. So I literally just like stayed in the lobby, and I sat on the chairs, and I think I fell asleep for a little bit. And then I think they felt bad, and they were like, actually, you can come in. And I was like, cool. The next show on the Warped Tour schedule was Chicago in Tinley Park. I hate Tinley Park. It's not a secret. It's just how it is. But this was actually the best experience I've ever had at Tinley Park. It was so much fun. I remember I did see the main on this one, and that was so great. I saw State Champs. That was so great. I love State Champs. I love the main. And then I had told somebody about the heirs, and I ended up meeting up with her and kind of forced her to go see the show, and then she kind of wanted to like hang back, and I was like, nope, you get to be front row. Their shows, they were definitely more on the pop side of the tour. The tour is typically pop rock or pop punk, or they weren't drawing huge crowds every day, at least not the days that I were going. They would get like a pretty decent crowd, like, but when I would get there, which is always like before their set, I would always be front row because like nobody was there, and people would come like during the set and be like, oh, they're pretty cool, and I was like, yes. But this one I like forced her to be in the front, and she was like, they were really good, and I was like, yeah. I met them at this one too. That was fun. I have all the posters in my room signed and everything, but I don't, as is tradition, I don't feel like going and getting them because
I have more. Oh, okay, cool. Alright, you have like 15. All the other games are long.
Okay, and then Minnesota. Okay, so I ended up getting there super early in the morning. That's just what I do. But I get in line, It's fine. It was super, super hot that day. And I was very, very, very dizzy. Things were just very weird. Just about the whole day. And they like pointed me out and they're like, we've seen you before. And I was like, yeah, you have. They were a band that was outside of the lines for, I think, Halsey, the Vamps, and Five Sauce, and like a whole bunch of other shows in 2015. I had seen them for like 2 weeks straight at every single show I went to. They were at every single one just because they were just playing to lines and just trying to get their name out and like selling their EPs and everything. And I had bought one of their EPs and they were trying to sell it to somebody like behind me, and I like turned around and I was like, wait a minute, and they were like, wait a minute, and I was like, that's cute. And they were like, so what did you think about it? And I was like, oh, it's really good. And then the person behind me bought a CD because I said it was good, and I was like so like that happened, and I was like, that's kind of weird that like you would be here. And it was, they had all the stages literally right next to each other. Like it was all smushed into this very small space. And like we were outside. It wasn't like an indoor thing. It was outside. There was zero shade. But it was like you could hear multiple shows going on at once, so it just sounded loud. They also had like a ticketing system for food where you had to like buy tickets so that you could buy food, and like that is just like too much anxiety for me that like I did not buy food or water that day because I was so shy that day. Like I was just not feeling it. And I ended up just like sitting on the ground in front of the heirs tent because I knew they were gonna have like a signing or something soon, and I was just like fine. And I just like literally was just in a ball like this and just like my head down in my knees, just that's it. That's all I was doing. And Brandon comes and walks and talks to every single person and then skips over me, and I just like looked up and I was like, weird, that's so weird. But at the same time I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. They started their meet and greet and I was like, I need to go, like I should just go. They're literally right in front of me. So I do line. So I get to the end of the line. Hi. You know? And they were like, hi, you're here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're here. And I was like, yeah, I'm here. Duh, I said I would be. And then they were like, how are you? And I was like, not good. Because like I was positive I was going to pass out. I was so dizzy and it was kind of scary. It was not fun. And they were like, oh my gosh, that's not good. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, sit down here and like be here and rest and be in the shade and everything, and here's water. And then they were like, you need food. And I was like, the person doing their merch was like, the only food I have are hot Cheetos. And I was like, okay. And of course this was the day that like their set was like the last set of the night, so I was just sitting outside all day because obviously I only mainly come for them. So that happened. I also met With Confidence. I don't really know how I feel about that anymore, but that's in the past, so. And then the show started, and I don't know, they were like on a different level for that show. And then there was like a mosh pit, and I was like, what? But I was like one of the only people to get it on camera, so I have that. I drove home. And now we're on day 4, which is Milwaukee, which arguably my favorite day out of the 4 that I went to. This one was just so much more fun. I was feeling a lot better, so that helped. I was huge on like gifts for the heirs, and for this one I had brought a flag. I brought 2 flags. One just said the heirs and one was like a designed one and everything. And I had worked like really hard on ordering it and everything because my whole thing was, what is something that all of the other bands have that they don't? And I was like, flags. Like flags are like a Warped Tour like essential. Like every band has some sort of flag except for them. And I was like, I need to give this to them. So I had gotten that all ready, and then I went to the show. It was really fun. I met a lot of people there. Then we met them afterwards, or a couple hours after, and that was really cool, just to see them and talk to them again. Again, I took a picture. I saw it on the screen, and like as I saw it, I was like, I'm not getting this, because it kept telling me to put in my email address, and I put it in like 5 times, and I was like, cool. And I'm kind of sad because I should have just taken a picture of the iPad just to have a picture, because I knew that this was going to be the last one. But I was like, maybe... My phone did not have very good reception anywhere ever, but I was like, maybe it's just waiting. But everyone I talked to after was like, yeah, I got mine immediately. Like before I even stepped away, it had already sent to me, and I was like, great. Later on, they were having like a signing, or they were just sitting at their tent, something like that. And I went over there, and I just kind of talked to them a little bit more. And then Brandon and Savannah went off, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to get the flags when they're not here. They had just like went off like deeper into the tent with some other people to talk. And then I was like, Alex, Ian, and Brennan are right here. And I was like, I want to give the flags to them. So I gave like one to Ian and then one to Alex and Brennan, and I was like, these are for you. Like I explained why and everything, and they were like, these are so cool. And then they brought Brandon and Savannah over, and Brandon was like, why didn't you throw this on stage? And I was like, because I didn't think of that. I don't know, I just kind of talked to them a little bit, and then I talked to Brandon for a little bit. He kept like asking me questions about the bands I've seen and everything, and that was pretty cool. But Milwaukee was just the best experience at Warped Tour that I've ever had, and it's why I wanted to go to more, and why I did go to more in later years. I love the heirs with my whole heart. They make everything good, and like all the other people I went to shows with, but especially the heirs. They were very, very important, and the reason I went to begin with. So they're just very good, and if you want to look them up or anything, they are now a new band. It's just Brandon and Savannah at this point, and they are called Between Friends, and I love them. So please love them too. My name's Kristen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon, and that's a promise. Bye.